Right, cool, yeah. Sweet. Enjoy that. Bon appetit.
Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a big
I know.
question.
We've gone a different direction now.
No, but it kind of ties in with my journey over lockdown because I was thinking a lot about what my purpose was. Not even my purpose, but what I wanted to just do in life.
Yeah.
Because I was in a 9-to-5, so not much changed for me other than I'd started living at work, not working from home. I was living at work, like getting up, sitting in front of my laptop day in, day out. And I realized, I was like, I think that's when I really clocked how many hours in the day I spent working on something that had nothing to do with really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And even though it's something I'm passionate about, and I think you could definitely have different avenues and different things you can do on a timely thing that like, oh, for now I want to help out with this.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the thing is, naturally for me, I get into ruts when I feel like constricted.
Yeah, of course.
And even just working from home felt even more of a lockdown because it was like, I can't even now just explore this lockdown by myself because I've still got things to do and I still have to sit in front of Zoom and sit in front of Teams and chat.
Zoom!
You know?
Yo, let's shout out Zoom because they went... their 2020 has probably been the best 2020 ever.
Teams, love it.
I don't even like Zoom.
And the thing is, I thought working from home would be a luxury, and I realised actually this is my space, and I feel like it's been taken over by work, and I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it, and I just got very, very frustrated because I just lost all inspiration to create anything. I just felt overwhelmed with everything going on. And the sector I was working in, domestic abuse, that was heavy in itself. And it's like now I'm almost bringing that into my home and dealing with that. So yeah, it really kind of made me think, Amelia, you're not doing what you want to do. And that's why you're really annoyed.
Yeah.
Like right now, this would be an ideal time if you're working on something that you loved. Because it would be like you have more time to explore what you want to do or whatever, or more time to be creative. But
that's kind of a grass is greener scenario because
we
we were very much like, we flipped in terms of how we're doing everything now. Because at that first lockdown period, March, April time, I was just complete freelancer, unlimited company, just doing. I was very much in control of how I was spending each day, which is a blessing in many regards, but in another regard, it's tiring. Like it's very arduous to think, okay, today I've got to do this. All right, tomorrow I've got to do this. Wednesday, blah 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 blah. But I can tell you you probably know by now as well because now we flipped. Now we flipped that. Like, you may not have had all the time you needed at that point. However, like stability and having some sort of security. Routine is one of those understated gems. Because me, at that beginning point where I didn't have any of that, I kind of tried to still create it for myself, i.e. like, all right, I'm going to walk at this time. I'm going to eat roughly at this time. I'm going to whatever read at this time, blah, 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 blah. Whilst trying to let things flow, it was still like, I'm still trying to hold on to this idea of structure and routine and stuff.
But then again, I kind of feel like tying back to your question about do we have a purpose and whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost because we've been conditioned in that's the best way that you produce work. Do you know what I mean? It's like
have a structure.
Yeah, or just kind of like you have to only do it between these certain hours of the day or like. And
that's nonsense.
And the thing is, I understand though, like in terms of working with everyone else, like especially in our time zone, like most people are up and doing things around that type of day. But for me, I think especially for the creative world, a lot happens in the evening and in the night.
Yeah, 100.
A lot happens. This is what I'm saying. Like
100. The first song in lockdown I remember writing, because I didn't write for time, but
I still haven't writ probably.
Really?
I remember.
That's how I know it's been a while. The first song I wrote, I remember, is called The Slump, and it was one of those where, again, I wrote and everything came out. Do you know what? Rewind slightly. Shout out to Tob Beats. He's like some 17, 18-year-old producer from Manchester.
Okay.
He just hit me up on Instagram on a random one. He was like, yo, I really like your stuff. Do you mind if I send you some beats? And my headspace was like, I'm not right. I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I was an artist for a long time. That April to August period, I wasn't an artist, to be honest with you. So I was like, yeah, if you want, you can send me some stuff and I'll check it when I can, kind of thing. And obviously I had bad times, so it's like I checked it pretty much ASAP. And he has sent me about 5 different packs at least. So 5 packs of at least 5
What's
beats.
What's his name again?
Tob Beats.
Tob Beats, yeah. Can I get some of those?
And genuinely, I can say this kid saved me a bit throughout this lockdown period, because being able to express myself in that way again.
Wait, is
like,
that?
through
I remember
music.
you shared me some beats. Was that the beats you sent me?
No, that was
from
from Temple. That was different.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, that being able to just express myself, because I didn't realize how I felt until I wrote that song. I was like, oh shit, like I'm not happy. Like I'm in a not great place. It was not dark like I'm gonna kill. It wasn't to that point, but it was very much a point of I'm really not feeling great about what's going on in my life right now. I really feel a bit lost and I need some guidance. I need to search myself for a bit more what's going on.
Yeah.
But shout out to him, because he just continually sent me stuff and it made sure that I was still on my job. So I still write occasionally, which was really, really helpful. And I'm trying to remember why I even got onto this point now. And
we got onto this point because we were talking about purpose and how we create, how and when we create.
That's it. Yeah, how and when we create. So yeah, that first song that I wrote, that was at mad hours.
Yeah,
it was
that's
like
what I mean.
not mad, like 4 a.m., but it was probably at least 1 a.m. in the morning where I couldn't sleep, and I'm listening to this thing. I'm like, this is speaking to me, so I need to speak. I need to communicate back to it.
Yeah,
and because that's how I listen to music. Like if I feel it, I'm gonna speak back to whatever like this instrumental or beat is saying to me. Oh man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mansa Brown. Yeah.
Come on.
Literally, my sister showed me that, and I was like,
have you listened to his whole album?
Yeah,
that's on. It's
good, but that because I love that one.
Yeah, because
so
it's beautiful.
Much.
It's beautiful.
Because I love that. I don't really listen to everything else.
No, but I think listen to the whole album, because it almost takes you for a journey.
It does, and it's a sick album.
He's sick. He's British, you know.
I know. There's so many sick British. Big up Spotify, because Spotify helps you find sick British
No. Big up Selection, because I found out.
Is that what
I found him on Selection.
Okay.
Because they kept playing
Maybe not even
it.
Big up Spotify as well, actually.
Yeah. Well, obviously Spotify, we want to come and sponsor the thing. But yeah.
Yeah, no, just us as creatives, us as the non-conventional people, even not even just creatives. You can call us non-conformists. You can call us unconventional, whatever it is. Creatives. People who don't necessarily feel compliant or comfortable even with the rigid structure of, all right, I'm going to go to work for 9, clock in, I'm going to finish at about 5, 5:30, maybe 6, unless you're doing a thing that you're truly passionate about. Our hours are different. Our movement is different. Our interpretation and perspective of the world is just different. And it's not to say it's better or worse. It's just because it's different, that has to be valued at a certain point. Like we have to really see that as in the economy, in social standards, in even political, in whatever standards, it's rated up here still, because throughout lockdown, people giving art, creativity, entertainment, even someone like Joe Wicks, like he made fitness creative, which is why so many people got into it. Like it's so important that it is valued at the standard that it should be, which is way up here. And I think that was a big point of why I didn't really feel like an artist, because I just didn't feel whatever I had was good enough to like not just make me feel better, but make other people feel a bit better.
This is my thing though, because I think getting back to the question of like purpose, I feel like over lockdown I was really kind of analysing, right, what is my purpose here? Because I couldn't write. I still haven't written a poem that I think is worth sharing or anything like that. But then I kind of almost felt like, do you know what? Even the poetry itself is more about my connections with human beings. And I realised actually I'm such a person that lives for connection. That's it, like conversations. With my poems, a lot of the time I want to stimulate conversation. A lot of the work I do is around conversation. And I get a buzz out of that. Like I get 100. A buzz. Like I love being out all the time, meeting new people, because who knows what kind of conversation we're gonna have.
Even you being on stage, like, or just being on stage, that's all about communication.
Do you know what I
still.
mean?
Like, I'm gonna communicate my thoughts through this art form, but it's just what I'm feeling or thinking, and you lot as an audience will give me your genuine reception to that. Like, it's so. Who was I with? I was with a musician the other day, and we were trying to think of the best feelings ever in it. He was like, when you score a goal in football in front of bare people, like that feeling is, and it's sick.
Best feelings
In front of a lot of people, if you score a goal, gas. Anyone who watches football, you'll see how they celebrate because the euphoria from it, and even the
it's the
energy transference. That's all it is. Same thing when you're on stage, because that was, to me, I was like, do you know what? When you're on stage and it's going sick, not that like everything's going to plan, but it's just going sick.
Yeah.
The energy transference between you, band members, audience, even when you notice the staff are enjoying it, you're just like, oh my God, this is not necessarily my purpose, but at that moment, in that present moment, that's what I'm meant to be doing. Yeah,
but I feel like I've had those moments of like being on stage and it going really well, or when people start clapping afterwards and you're like, wow. But I have that same euphoric moment when I'm out on a night out and I'm having a good time.
So, those spontaneous ones into picture, innit? Like, just out and you're like,
it's just that thing of being do you know what I mean? Like, it is that magic of when you have so many people in one place at the same time experiencing the same thing that we've created together.
Super facts.
And that's what lockdown took away.
Yeah, that's what the pandemic took away.
Do you know what
Lockdown
I mean?
took away. Government in a certain point took away.
It's not the same doing it virtually. It's not the same.
Let's be real, it's crap.
It's shit.
It's crap,
I don't
man.
want to swear.
Nah, it's shit. Let's say it is shit. It's shit. Like,
I'm just not here for
doing
it.
Zoom. There was one Zoom call the other day. Like, it was happening let's say it was happening at 8. I jumped in at 9 because I thought, do you know what? I should show face.
You're just late.
No, and then when I jumped in, I was like, oh my God, the energy here is so low. So I left after like 5 minutes because I was like, this isn't fun. And we don't have to pretend that it is. Like, if you hate being on the camera, on your phone or whatever, or sitting at your laptop pretending you're having a good time with your friends, just don't do it. Like, just tell your people, you know what? Yeah, I might ghost for a little bit. You'll talk to me on the phone, or we might do a one-to-one meeting because that's what's legally allowed or whatever. But sitting on my phone at like 9 p.m. just doing this, yeah, guys, yeah,
it's just not the same.
It's not the same. Like, it can be fun, don't get me wrong, but majority of the time, I'm cooling.
Because even like house party right at the beginning of lockdown, it's just not the same. And it's mad as well because you're essentially doing the same thing. You're playing music, you're having a drink, you're chatting to other people. But the only thing that is different now is that it's the presence. And I realize more than ever, I just want to, because even actually, remember when lockdown started easing, and I won't say when I started linking up with people, but you know the ones like where we were allowed to link up with people. Oh my God, I was like so excited just to be around another human being other than people that I've been locked down with, just to have that organic conversation, because the way we communicate isn't just the words we say.
That's
it's
like
your
the bare
body
minimum.
Language. You know what I mean? It's 70%, I think, actually, your body language.
Yeah.
Or is it like 60, 70? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's literally your body, your being that communicates that. So over the phone, you lose it. How many times you sit on Zoom and you all want to talk and you all talk at the same time, and it's just this miscommunication nonsense, lost in translation, like. Yeah. Sorry, go on. It's just not natural. It's just not. I'm over it.
There's a real value in just being present as well.
Oh,
like,
God, it is.
Knowing that someone is there for you or with you, that just means a lot to a lot of people, including myself. Like, if I know whatever I might be going through, you can sit down and there's someone next to you, even if they're just watching TV or whatever, but you just know there's another presence that if you need to rely on them, you need to just communicate something, they will either pick up on your aura and feel like, oh, you don't seem right. Is everything okay? Now they'll ask you the question and that might prompt you to like start speaking.
It's even like today when I came in, I think everyone picked up on the aura.
Aye, way Amelia came in today, yeah. Don't be gassed or by the bright green and it looks very natural. I'm sorry. She came in her face like this.
You know it is, and it's
The
mad
hair,
because
the
I
scarf in her hair.
just couldn't
Don't
even.
chat to me.
I was walking up here, yeah, and I was like, Amelia, right, snap out of it. I couldn't snap out of it. I was annoyed. And just to break it down, it's just because we had planned to be here for a certain time, and that didn't go to plan.
You know what?
Because there was miscommunication.
We make plans and God laughs
Yeah,
at us.
no. At this time, God was like, go on.
2020, he showed us, like, you think you're in control, yeah? Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That was
But
it.
one thing that did go to plan for me, because I will say it.
Come on, let's run it. Let's go. Happy news, innit? 2020 hasn't been all doom and gloom.
So
Come
in the
on.
midst of everything that was going mad.
Yeah, inside the place. Come on, let's go.
Inside, everything was going downhill. But prior to that, at the beginning of the year, I'd obviously, actually no, it was at the end of last year, I'd won BBC Radio London's new voice.
I think we do even have some sound. Should I experiment real quick?
All right, try.
I'm
This
going
is
to do
when you
one
need
more.
Right,
We'll have
go
one
for
more.
a purple.
All right.
Oh, no, okay.
Oh my gosh, nah.
What's
Sorry,
happening?
Nah, we're not going with none of those.
Anyway, so obviously,
That can.
just to cut the whole journey short, last year, I'm laying in my bed. Yeah, I've told this story so many times. We can do it real quick. I'm laying in my bed, you know. And my friend, shout out to Vabi and her mum, they live in Wembley. And in Wembley, BBC Radio London were looking for new voices. And they were hosting auditions for people to come down. I'm lying in my bed. I don't know anything about this. So I remember just getting a random phone call from Vabi. And I'm one of those people now, which I've actually come to terms with. I don't like phone calls. So she calls me randomly and I don't answer because I'm just like, I don't know whether I'm prepared for this. Like, I'm chilling right now in my own like world. I don't know whether I want to deal with whatever this is on the phone. Yeah. So she sends me a voice note and she's like, Amelia, BBC are looking for new voices. Me and Mama think you'd be perfect. We've signed you up. You need to get down here. So I'm like, okay. So I call her. She's telling me about it. She's like, yeah, if you can get here within like the next 2 hours, then they'll let you audition. So I'm like, okay, cool, right. You know when you get up and you're like, okay, let me run a bath. Like, I was thinking, what am I doing? Anyway, so I get down there. And obviously on the way, I'm like, well, what do I even need to do to audition? And they were looking for 60 seconds just to talk about something, like tell a story, make them laugh, whatever. And I was like, right, I can talk, but for 60 seconds, I was like, that's a short
for you, man.
That's a short time. I can't even do 60-second voice notes. Like, I was like, oh, it's going to be difficult. So I get down there now. I get to the desk and I was like, hi, I think I'm here for the new voices. They were like, have you booked? And I was like, no. They're like, it's only for people that have like booked already.
Peaky.
And I was like, I think my friend signed me up.
All the way from Hackney to Wembley at these times.
And then I was like, I think my friend signed me up. And then they were like, oh, are you Amelia? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you made it. And I was like, yeah. They're like, okay, you need to get up there ASAP. So I go upstairs and I meet Vabi and her mum. They're all like, right, Amelia, you got this. And her mum's like, you are going to win this, Amelia. I just know it. And I'm thinking, all right, calm down. Like, I don't know what's happening here. Still don't know what I'm going to do. So I get in there and I recognize some people already. Like I've seen some poets and that lining up and there's people. Yeah. So we all get like going in groups.
How did you feel? Were you like nervous or was it more a case of, ooh, I'm ready for this?
Nah, didn't feel ready. Not going to lie. Didn't feel ready. I just, you know when it's like, it's all happening so quick that I couldn't even process it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was essentially going up for. Yeah. I didn't know. So, and I think that kind of helped me in a way because I felt other people were seriously nervous because they'd obviously, because eventually when my friend sent me the link, I saw how long it had been advertised out. So people had time to like prepare. They were thinking, yes. And I'm sorry that I came along and didn't know anything about it and then won the whole thing. I'm sorry. But I remember going in there and Salma and Lionheart were there as well. And obviously I've seen Lionheart. He does his thing. He's a known poet. Also, Salma.
Wait, were they there auditioning?
No.
Okay,
so
cool.
so Salma was Salma was the one bringing everyone in.
Yeah.
And kind of chatting to everyone before they went in on audition. And Lionheart was on the panel with a few other presenters, BBC Radio London presenters. At this time, I wasn't familiar with everyone there, but I remember looking at Salma and I was like, poet, and I was like looking at Lionheart and I was like, poet, and I was like, maybe I'll just do a poem. Yeah. And I remember literally I had 60 seconds before I was going in and I was like, I asked Salma, I was like, can I do a poem? She was like, babe, do whatever you want. And I was like, right, okay, cool. I was like, what poem? And I just remember going around and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a poem called The Ends. And then I just did it. And I was like praying that it was still there in my memory. And I did fumble a little bit, but I just remember when I was doing it, everyone like literally just stopped writing and they just looked up at me like, and I remember thinking,
yeah, you know. And do you know, that's the body language thing you were saying, innit? They didn't have to speak, but you could just feel they get what you're saying, innit?
Literally. And I remember thinking, okay, yeah. And I even went a little bit over the 60 seconds, but they let me. And then afterwards, they were like, thank you. And I remember especially Lionheart, because also I actually went in there like, I want to show like this is to Lionheart. He's a poet and I know he's going to get it.
Yeah.
And I did it and then I came out and I was thinking, right, well, it's done. And then after that, actually, there was more poets that came, and I think in my session I was the first poet. So that actually, okay. I think that actually helped the fact that I was the first. Because then afterwards, I felt like even people must have changed their minds. Like, I'm gonna do a poem instead.
Could they hear you?
Yeah, you could hear everyone doing their audition before, so I could hear people telling funny stories and all of that, which obviously it builds the pressure.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I do that's gonna stand? Because I'm all about standing out. I'm all about
100.
Let me just
the non-conformist, non-conventional.
Do you know what I mean? And I was like, I need to do something different. And I was like, poem. And then afterwards, then they told you there and then after everyone had gone, they would tell you who got into the next round.
Yeah, sick.
So I sat there and in my head I was thinking, if I don't get through, I was like, I've performed in front of Lionheart. I remember just thinking that like, this is enough for me. I performed in front of people. They know who I am now.
Yeah. I'm
good. And then my name got announced, like people getting through to the next round, Amelia. And I was like, oh my, I was like, oh mate, I was lying in my bed about like a couple of hours ago. And then after that, you know what actually saved me as well? What got me through to the next round was when I came out, they had their cameras there and they were like, oh, do you mind? Like, they were like, did you get in? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you mind saying a few words to the camera about how you feel right now? And I remember actually it was, because eventually when I ended up getting through the rounds and getting to know some of the people at the BBC, one of the women was telling me, it was actually when we noticed your personality on that video that they were like, okay, there's a bit more about her. Video? So it's the one where I'm like, my name's Amelia Poamz, I'm an activist, and I want to speak, just all that, and I'm in my bright green thing. But if I would have just jetted off, they would have never caught that bit of me. It just would have been like this serious poet type of person. So,
not even to cut you, but one of the main things I learned about this year is that like relationships and how you relate to people is that's it. That's it. If you can have a good relationship with XYZ, believe you and me, they'll be incentivized to like push you forward to help you a little bit, innit?
Absolutely.
But yeah, go on, you keep going,
no, but
man.
That's it. And the thing is, even in general, like at every event, I will never jet off.
Yeah.
Because even actually at the hospital club, I nearly left before this group that played. And I remember that they had watched me perform and I nearly left before they performed, but I was like, no, I'm gonna chill and stay. Like everyone's watched me perform. I want to watch them. And it was actually one of like the main girl in that group. I've forgotten the name. I've forgotten it. But she was like, I'm in charge of getting the acts down to the secret garden party. Do you want to? Do you know what I mean? And she was like, I'd love to get you down there. And this is what I mean. People get you the gigs. You got to be a people person. Doesn't matter how sick you are. If you can't hold a conversation with someone, or if you can't even be bothered to hang around afterwards to get to know people.
That's what it is, you know.
It's networking, and people forget the importance of networking.
Some people are just introverts, which is absolutely fine in this industry.
But there's some people where their ego, I'm sorry,
it's different. That's a whole different bag.
Do you know what I mean?
Ego is not the same as you just being a bit nervous or tentative when it comes to like talking to people and expressing yourself. If that's the case, either obviously have someone else who could help you with the conversation initiation, or just find the right time for you. But if you are one of those artists who's like, no, I don't need to be here anymore, I've done my thing, everyone's watched me, I'm off, then it's like, bruv, sis, whoever you are, you're not going too far, I'll be real. Like, because you and I can probably say this at this point where when did you start? I started doing open mics 2014 maybe, 2015, like at least 5 years I've been running around, meeting different people, doing different shows. And at different points, the reason why any big-ish thing has happened is because me and that person have got some form of relationship. We were the ones who hung around at the end of the open mic. We exchanged our details and actually spoke. Because there's so many times you're like, oh yeah, what's your at? Let me follow you. Nothing.
Yeah, innit?
That's why I don't like following people too tough. Because it's like, if we're going to talk, then let's just talk.
Yeah.
And then we can follow each other. But that's not the social etiquette. You know? It's like, no, we must follow each other first, blah, blah, blah. But just in terms of that, like, your ego has to become secondary to what's the best thing that's going to help me and another person go forward. Because at the end of the day, if we're all in the same space at the same time, we're at least in this moment in time in the same journey. Like, that's it. So you're not better than me, I'm not better than you. We're performing on the same stage.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. Like, just having people skills is so important.
Yeah, for real.
And actually just also making people feel like, basically, it's your vibe, it's your energy. Basically, like, if you are a bit up yourself or whatever, like, people aren't really gonna help people that they don't like, and that's the truth.
Yeah,
that is actually the truth.
Because they think it will help them for a short period of time, but it's not a long term thing, man. People read vibes, innit? People read. Do you know?
And the thing is, also, you want people to almost like root for you, and I felt like that's what it felt like with BBC Radio London for me. I didn't realise, actually, because so to end the story, so I came in then and I recorded a pilot, and then essentially they had everyone, like a few other a few other people, finalists, record their pilots, and then they just the radio station decided who'd won and was going to be like named the new voice of BBC Radio London, and that basically meant having a 1 hour show put out on the station, and that was it. They even said this was at the beginning of the year,
April?
January.
Oh, was it January?
Yeah, January. That's when it went out. But that was it, and they told me categorically, like, this does not mean that you're going to get a slot on BBC Radio London. And I was fine with that, because I came in with no expectations.
Yeah.
I was fine. And I think because I had that about me, that I was just like, everything was just, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't come in like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, I came in all the time, like, I'm just so happy to be here. And I think that really resonated to the point that now when I get a phone call in April, actually the end of March, actually the same day I came back from Paris, asking me, do you want to join BBC Radio London?
Amazing, man.
Start presenting the scene.
Honestly, amazing.
And I even thought, is this a question? Yeah.
Say less.
They were like, yeah, we just have to make sure that you're not going on holiday. Like, because we'll need you, obviously, for these amount of weeks. I think, well, little did we know nobody
I was about to say, you said March, innit? So that was before they even knew
nobody was going on
what
holiday.
was cracking.
But I was thinking, even if I would change that around, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and especially because it wasn't guaranteed. So I was like, yeah. And they're like, right, we're going to have to, like, get you in. And the way I juggled my schedule, because I basically always had to come in at times I was working, and I can say it now.
Now you're free.
No, I can say it now, but like,
free.
I had to really like put some things in my diary, like I'm doing this, but really I'm at BBC Radio London, because I knew that the contract I was on at the council, it wasn't forever, and I knew this is actually what I really want to do. I'm gonna make it work.
That is so sick that you moved on a thing that you felt you really wanted to do, because there's so many times, especially in our 20s, I think that's a really I'm still in my 20s, by the way, but yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
So you're 33?
No, I'm young, you know what I mean? But anyway, in that point in life, it seems like, and that goes back to the whole purpose thing, innit, where you feel like, I need to learn or discover my purpose now. Like, there's no waiting around, because by the time I'm 25 or by the time I'm 30, all these arbitrary numbers that we put on stuff, we're like, okay, this is the checkpoint. When in reality, you just discovering what you want to feel or how you feel, and then you learning how you can action that feeling, whatever age that comes at. That to me is a sense of purpose, and that's why I feel like your purpose can change, because your feelings will change, your interpretation of your external will change and develop, innit?
But at the same time, I don't even think my purpose changed, because the more and more I was like in there and doing learning how basically to like drive the desk, and like learning all the kind of what I have to do basically to have my own show. It was taking me back to a time where I actually remembered that like radio was one of the first things I wanted to do. Radio presenting was actually one of the first
built for it,
things
man. Every
I
time
wanted
I hear
to
you,
do.
I'm like, this sounds so normal. Like, how has this not been happening
You know
for
what I
time?
mean? Like, it's actually one of the first things I wanted to do. Like, I literally remember being in my room by myself before the days of I mean, I was probably like around 5, and I used to like have a dictaphone. I used to record myself on it. Then I used to press play on a cassette player to play my tunes.
Yeah.
And it's obviously pirate radio stations. So I used to be like, shout out to the 012, shout out to the like. I just used to love doing it, and I used to love that. I used to love about radio stations and radio presenters that you felt like you knew them and you were getting to know them, and it was just their voice and. Them times
that familiarity, you build the rapport you almost build up with this voice. You don't even see them.
You know what
like,
they look
you just
like.
hear the voice and you're like, oh yeah, that's Trevor Nelson, or that's and you just, all right, I know at this time this person is who I'm gonna ride with because they've got me, kind of thing.
Literally, and also them
sick.
times that's really only how you heard music.
Yeah, facts.
It was on the radio.
Facts, or like what was it called? Not Napster, BearShare, and LimeWire.
Yeah, but I mean, even
But
before
properly,
that, do you know what I mean?
Properly,
exactly.
it was just the radio, innit?
So more and more doing this, I was like, actually, I feel like I'm almost being like I've gone round in a circle because basically I've always known I want a platform.
Yeah.
I want to talk. Basically, do you know what I mean?
This is your own controlled platform as well, which is
Literally.
that's what it's sick. Like,
It is.
It's, go on before I get gassed again. Go on.
But like I've always wanted the spotlight, but not in a kind of self-absorbed, narcissistic way. I've always kind of just felt comfortable with talking to people, multiple people at one time.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to deliver something, basically. I've always wanted, whatever that was, I've always wanted to entertain people, deliver, and almost make people feel comfortable.
Sick.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always, so that comes in a form of whether it's radio, poetry, hosting, singing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's about bringing people together in some way, whether it's someone at home listening to a podcast or whatever,
Yeah.
but collectively, like, delivering something to like multiple people at the same time.
That's sick because that kind of answers the question of, do you think there's a purpose? Yes. However, it's not so stringent. Yeah, it's not like your way of serving your purpose is hosting, just like it's everything, encompassing it all. And I think that was something, like, if I think about me for this year, that's something I really reflected on, where I was like, why have I boxed myself into this tiny space so much of, I do events and I do rap and I do work. It's like, no, it's the act of service basically is what it is. It's like, I'm going to communicate with as many different people, whoever is in the vicinity at the time or capable of hearing, has accessibility, whatever. I'm just going to communicate what I feel is a thing that needs to be communicated at this time. I'm going to be of that service to this audience. And you being a host, you being an actress, you being a spoken word artist, you now having a podcast, you running an event, they're all just ways of fulfilling that sense of purpose. And yeah, purpose for everyone will differ, especially if we're going to look at the very stringent, strict roles that we can like attribute to people. But really, it's how much of service are you in this world, in this life? And that could be to just one person. It might be just your child or just your partner. You might be Tupac Shakur, who obviously has created a legacy that served loads of people over years and years and years. Whoever you are, whatever you believe your purpose is, I can see for you, I can see for me, even Samira, who's here on the camera and got the iPhone and there, all that on deck. Everything is some form of service to another. Like, your purpose is so much more than just within yourself. It's within yourself you discover it, I think. But I think you display it.
And you know what it is? Unfortunately, this is where I feel like when industries get involved and when money gets involved, sometimes we almost lose what it is. Because essentially, let's take it back. Like, imagine there wasn't a music industry. There wasn't, all of this wasn't about making money. Because I think a lot of people actually lose the why. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get so, and unfortunately, we are in a time now where even if you do something you like, we have to turn everything
how are you going to
into
flip
money.
that? How are you going to flip
that? Do
that?
you know what I mean? It could actually be like, well, I don't actually want to do this for money.
Yeah,
do you know what I
I just
mean?
like
And also, if we lived in a world where we didn't actually have to make money the way that we do now, and even to the extreme that we have to do now, where we want to make more money than we need or whatever, like, would we still be doing? Like,
Absolutely not.
And the thing is, you know what? And I'll tell you this categorically: would I still be doing this if there was it was nothing to do with money?
We're not going to pay for this.
Exactly, we're not.
We pay for this.
You know what I mean?
Like we want to make this happen.
If we were sitting in a village in them times when we had nothing, I would be that person in the middle telling stories.
Yeah, the griot.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Like,
and it's like, what is our roles in the village? Do you know what I mean? Because there's some people who are like the storytellers, some people that just want to care for people, some people want to teach people stuff, some people want to connect people with other people, like and I think if we strip that back, that's when we find what our purpose is without the money involved.
It's very, do you know what
this is some gold.
London, yeah. London makes that so difficult because London, not even just
money.
London, like we can say in many different places in Western society in particular, but because we're from London, because we've grown up here, I'm going to focus on London. London makes it so difficult. Whereby when you leave your house, just bear in mind you will spend money.
Yeah.
There is nothing free. Yeah, you're all right. Oh God, I gotta get the tube because London's so big. You have to travel. How are you traveling? Is it gonna be Uber / Bolt / cab? Is it gonna be tube or but like you're gonna pay for it? Even if you get one of the bikes, you're paying for the bike. You're hungry because you're all the way on the other side of London, so you're gonna have to buy food. Maybe gotta buy food. Like
even
London,
just sitting in your yard, you gotta pay for electricity. You gotta pay for rent. You got
Netflix,
everything is money.
Spotify, like everything is money, and obviously this is not a London centric problem. I'm just using London as my example, but like. Having that idea of how do I survive or how do I get to that next step because house prices are X amount and my wages Y amount, it doesn't correlate. There's certain taxes that are just being imposed or increasing, whether it's road tax, congestion charge stuff, or whether it's other forms of transportation taxes. Like just there's a lot that is imposed on us that does make a lot of people forget what's the why or what can be my why even, just because their first thing in front of their face is, I need to pay this bill. I need to get this done. I need to get that. And it's difficult for a lot of people, man, especially in these times where money has depleted just because maybe they can't do their job or blah, blah, blah.
And I think this is the rut that I get in a lot because I feel like we are on this hamster wheel. We are on this treadmill. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't have to worry about money, I probably would be a completely different person. I probably would be the best version of myself. Essentially, though, at the same time, because of my relationship that I've had with money, because it hasn't always been the best, I've never really been in a privileged position. It almost, I have that value. I understand the value of money and time and stuff like that. And it's mad how that can change us as people, our relationship with money.
Yeah, 100%.
Because essentially, unfortunately, it makes the world go round. Like, I wouldn't be doing half the jobs that I've done in my life where I've actually met some incredible people, but I wouldn't have been at them jobs if I wasn't getting paid. Do you think I want to be serving people G&Ts on a hot summer day?
I know exactly what you're saying, yeah, and you're right. However, the only thing that I would say is that, like, it's very important that we as whoever remember that we put value into stuff, which is why us doing this, for instance, as we said, we're not. Yeah, exactly. We should determine. Okay, this is where I'm going to put my value. This is where I'm going to spend my money. This is how I want to communicate. Now. Yeah, literally where I'm at right now. And I always talk about grime just because it's such a poignant thing from my childhood that's grown into whatever it is now. Like those people. All those MCs climbed ladders, got to the top of flats, had to hold the aerial just so they had to pay to spit a 16 bar sometimes on the radio. Like all of those things just for my entertainment, everyone in this room's entertainment, and also their like sanity. Like a lot of people do music do it for their own sanity more than anything.
Yeah, and I think it is that as well, because I guess when we also do talk about value, for instance, yes, artists should be paid such because essentially they're giving parts of their soul, especially some artists are really giving it to
ripping
you.
into it.
Do you know what I mean?
I think money is if that's all you have to offer.
Yeah.
But there's other.
Say that again.
Money is the most important way of showing your value if that's all you have to offer. Yeah. Which is when you say industry, I know exactly what you mean, because that's all they really have to. That's they can show you. Oh no, but this is the amount that you can get, and it's like most of us would do it because it's like I've not seen that money before. Yeah. I need that cash right now.
And I guess when I'm paying for a concert, because It's funny to say I don't even feel like I pay for music anymore because it's just subscription. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's changed from back in the day. I would go into Woolworths and go and buy my album, and I'm buying it because I'm almost like, thank you for making this. Do you know what I mean? Because this brings me so much joy.
That's what JME did with his last album, innit? Because he was like, I want people to have the experience again of going somewhere. You hold it, it's tangible. You look and read at who's contributed to this. You just feel like you're a part of this thing, and it's not going to be here today, gone tomorrow. Because those, DSPs are sick because they allow you to hear all these different artists. They show you related artists that are similar, blah, 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 blah. It is very much like, all right, listen to it. All right, flip. Because a playlist will just show you bare different people. And it's only when someone you love or something you love really stands out. But I guess just because we're from that analog/digital generation, and like we still get it. Generations after us, they're not gonna get it. They're probably gonna think, "Why the hell do you want a CD? Are you dumb? Like you just press play and it's there. Like why do you want to?
Nothing used to make me happier. Buying singles, nothing used to make me happier than going to buy a CD.
Yeah,
it was also like, I'm a fan.
You know, I only stopped buying music in like 2018.
Really?
Yeah, the last CDs I bought was maybe 2015. But I was still buying people's albums on iTunes and that until 20. I think the last one I got was J. Cole, KOD.
Oh, okay,
I'm pretty sure that was 2018. So that was the last one I bought. But I was on it. I was like, yo, no, I wanna support these people. But then I was like, you know what? There's actually too much music.
Like, and this is where I just kind of fall with the subscriptions. Do you know what I mean?
The thing. I was like, I can't actually afford
it. Concerts for me is where I kind of feel like this is how I want to pay you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And again, that also comes down to the artist and their presence on stage as well. Because
some of you sound sick on tunes.
Yeah, but you can't. And you know what? Yeah, one of the latest concerts that I went to, actually, and also to tie this in to what we're talking about. So the last concert I went to prior to lockdown, which I didn't even realize, was a Gets concert, and I was so.
Oh, did you go?
Yeah, I went to Gets concert. Shout out to Q who hooked me up. Literally on the day, he asked me, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "I could get you in."
Be my friend, man.
No, come on now. It's only you that's got a lit friends. But one of the best concerts I've ever been to was a Mist concert. I had so much fun. Yeah,
they got Mist, you know.
But you know what it is? Even saying that, like, it's not even like he was just a crazy, like the performance wasn't like mad, but he was just one, I guess, like love Mist music in general.
Yeah.
But just the vibe there, honestly, and everyone there, you just
they were in it.
Yeah, like you were just there, like, oh yeah, we all love Mist. There was no beef, there was nothing. And I mean, he's got a song called Mosh Pit. Could have gone really left. I was in the middle of the mosh pit, having the best time ever. And that, you know, when I buy someone's concert ticket, and you always know when it's like when one of your artists that you love releases, like, and I know obviously we could talk about Kano for you especially, but when they say they're performing, which to be honest, I'm still a bit hurt that I've not gone to a Kano concert yet. But when they say that they're releasing dates, it's like a no-brainer. I'm there, like.
Yeah,
I'm paying. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm there.
That's how you know you're a fan, innit?
Yeah, I'm there.
Like, no, I'm paying. I'm there. Yeah, exactly. I'm there.
Like, it doesn't even matter what the price is. Even though, like, sometimes you look at the price and you're like, bruh, like, I know you're good, but you're...
that price. Yo, no, man, yeah. That's how you know you're a fan, innit? And that, I knew I was a fan of Kano anyway, but, like, seeing him at Royal Albert Hall...
I'm actually angry.
It was just sick.
Oh, that was last year, wasn't it?
October last year. It's mad how like so much has happened throughout this year.
And that was shortly after he brought out Hoodies All Summer.
Yeah. I think he may have done that in September. I don't know. It was very soon after. I remember I saw Koji Radical a week before or 2 weeks before.
Where was I all these times?
I have other friends, you know.
That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Nah. Okay, I have a question for you.
Oh, here we go.
No, I actually have a question, which this is going to be interesting. Where would you rank me on your friends list?
Wow,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. Because you seem to have a lot of other friends.
That's a big question. Shit, I don't rank my friends like that. I just have good peoples.
Like
you're up here. You're up here.
No, but okay, what kind of friend would you say I am?
What's the categories?
I mean, If someone said, okay, what's yours and Amelia's friendship like? Like, what is it?
Sounds my G. Me and Amelia are tight.
All right, G. Where does G rank? Like,
G's high. G's high. If you're my G, that means like we can rely on each other for stuff.
Okay.
And we talk fairly frequently and all of that.
Who's above G in terms of friendship?
Oh man, who's above G? I don't know. I don't know. You're high. Like, you're high.
I'm not
it's hard
top,
to say.
though.
I'm trying to think who's top. Like, who's
top?
my top friend?
Who's your
my
best mate?
Top friends are people that I've known like for years and years.
So it's about how long you've known them.
Longevity is a big thing in friendship. If I've known you
No,
since
it's
11,
for me.
if I've known you since 11,
Yeah, and
we're
I guess if it's
still
been
friends,
consistent,
yeah,
I feel you.
That's like we don't have to even like we don't even have to
Yeah,
really
yeah,
talk in it. But those friends who I've known since 11, those are like friends. You're my friend. I don't know how this is gonna be worded in a way that still is like it does. Do you know what it is? No, do you know what it is?
We have to bring the sauce.
There's those people who like I grew up with essentially, and then there's
I'll put him on the spot.
there's this who is like, no, you're just my G's and you're my people, and you're my G's / my peoples.
Yeah.
You're my inner circle.
Inner circle. Yeah, you
If
don't
was
say
like,
it come on
see?
BBC. That's
Categories. I can run with that. You're my inner circle. I told you bare stuff. Like, I don't hide anything. I'll tell you what's going on in my life.
because also I get it out of you.
Yeah, but
I'll ask you them straight questions.
But not everyone who I'd be like, okay, so this is what's going on.
Yeah, no, I feel
give the
you,
breakdown kind of thing. Like, I tell you
It's a
everything.
bit awkward still though, because I just see you as an acquaintance.
That's all right. Whenever you're ready to leave, you can.
I'm
you make your way.
joking. No, I'm not gonna lie. You're up there. It's like mates. I don't know how.
Mates,
I sit there and I think I don't know how.
Because I
don't know
approached you.
how.
That's all it was.
I think it was definitely the journey of infacts.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How
I think
close
it
were we
was the journey
before
of-
infects?
Because I definitely feel like our friendship has obviously grown throughout infacts.
And that's because you pissed me off and I pissed you off.
Yeah, but I
and we
think
still sustained, innit?
yeah, and I think, but that's what you have to get to with friendships as
Yeah,
well,
100,
because it
100.
can be all like nice and whatever, but how do you deal with disagreements?
Yeah.
And you know what? I was thinking about it today actually, and I have to shout. I appreciate you for this because I can have my moods. I can have my moods.
Understate.
And there's no hiding it. And I always say how I feel. And it's basically down on how you react on how it can go. And it could go left.
Oh man, yeah.
It's not. And I appreciate that I guess you kind of see, okay.
Yeah, the tone of voice or the tone of message, I'm like, all right. I can respect. Yeah, we can go, but nah. There's
but
no
also
point
with me, it doesn't last long. Like it will be there, but it won't last long. Like I won't hold on to it. Like it is what it is. But I think that's when I was like, okay, yeah, we could get on. Because if you was one of those people that's like, yeah, but why you did it? And I'm like, this is long. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm annoyed because I'm annoyed, and now you're annoyed because I'm annoyed that. You've annoyed me. Do you know what I mean?
And we just go, that cycle of being annoyed.
But,
yeah, no.
yeah,
Sometimes you just gotta be like, you know what, I'm sorry. Fuck it, it's my bad.
And that's
Which
what
usually
he said.
is my bad.
That's what he said outside, everyone.
usually my
He's
bad,
like,
innit?
no,
I'll
to
be
be honest, it's actually like, I was being a bit petty today. I'll give you that. I was annoyed. I guess I'm a bit of a control freak and I like things to go.
The year of 2020 has told you you're not in control. Like, we're not in control, bro.
It's mad, isn't it? So that's why I also get annoyed at myself being annoyed because I'm like, Amelia, you know better than this, but you're still letting your emotions like. And I was really on the way here. I was trying to shrug it off, like, okay, it's not gone the way that I've planned today, Amelia. And I was literally sipping on my G&T, and I was like, we're gonna get into a good mood. And I was like, come on. And
that
it's
is
gonna be
not
awkward.
the way to turn to the alcohol and be like, all right, I'm going to feel bad now.
But come on, one thing I'm surprised you didn't say, well, you're my lit friend, the one that's always
The lip, no. We haven't been out enough. We've only been out a couple of times, and I was more lit than you, innit? So, huh? That's a story that if we ever talk about it, it's not today.
You know what? If anything
If
makes
we
you come
ever
back
talk
to this
about it.
podcast, it will be the day I get to tell the story about Lemzi getting waved. I don't even think I actually saw you. Because
for a few out there, I disappeared.
yeah, he
At one point,
disappears, but like
That's my coping mechanism. If I'm like there, I'm like, all right, now it's time to go to bed or it's time to go home. No matter where
You
I
run.
am.
You run.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not facing this one. I'm gone in it.
See, at least with me, people will see me throughout the night. Like, oh, she started drinking, she's waved, she's gone. Do you know what I mean? She's gone, but she's still here. She's here showing everyone that she's gone.
I am outie.
You, out.
Outie.
But we'll save that for another time where we...
Say less, innit? Say less. We'll get
Maybe
to the exposure later.
Oh, mate, you'll never live that down in my eyes. You'll never live that down.